This is the list of FIDE Grand Prix for women participants. And out of these players, 12 players arrived in India for the third leg of the Grand Prix. And then something interesting happened. Unfortunate things happened. The players in India were there was Alexandra Goryashkina, top female player, along with the second. Now this is Bibisara. This is Vaishali, Indian player with her mom. Here is Koneru Hambi and Harika, two top players from India. And here is Abdumalik, the top player from Kazakhstan. And Abdumalik actually withdrew from the tournament. Even before the first round started, she withdrew from the tournament and went back to her country right after the opening ceremony, before the first day. So, what happened? She has her explanation for this. This was the statement by Abdumalik. I left the tournament because the preparation for the event was not adequate. I arrived at the airport at 1:30 a.m. and they forgot to meet me. I tried to contact the person who was supposed to wait for me. He didn't check his messages for 1.5 hours. I did everything they said in our email before we arrived, but there was nothing at the airport. I don't think it was hard to organize transfers for only 12 players when there was a huge Olympiad organized last year for thousands of people. I can't imagine if a top male player was arriving to the tournament and no one is there to pick him up. That was not a good start. The location of the hotel was not great. FIDE knew that unfortunately Delhi has some problems with the air because of pollution. I could see a big landfill from my window where they were putting on a fire or something of that sort. Leaving the hotel is difficult because of its location. The hotel staff told me not to go out because it could be dangerous. So these were the two reasons that made Abdulmalik leave the tournament. I love India. We had a great Olympiad in Chennai and I have very nice memories from it. But this time something went wrong and I could not imagine myself playing there for 2 weeks. It's one of the best tournaments in the world and I just want FIDE to put more attention to women's chess. It was too much for me and that's why I decided to leave. We deserve to play in good conditions. Everyone knows that I am a fighter and I would never withdraw from such a tournament without reason. This was her explanation for the whole thing. So out of the 12 players, when one person withdraws, there's just 11 players left, and there'll be one player with a bye every round. So this would affect the other players as well. Now, Elizabeth Pates, who was also playing in the tournament, at 12:30 at night, messaged, actually mailed the FIDE official, Arkady, FIDE president, and this was the content. One of our participants decided today to leave the tournament, leaving a huge scar behind it. We are composing this letter to underline that things in women's chess, especially regarding professional organization and care of tournaments, in the past went in a very unfortunate way. Some of us are emotionally down and upset. From the professional point of view, as well as speaking for our colleague Zhansaya Abdumalik, we would suggest to cancel and postpone the event. And 6 players have signed it, as in they put their names in it. Out of the 12, 6 players wanted the tournament to be postponed and cancelled because of this organizational problem. I mean, it's not happened before in India. It's the first time the Grand Prix event is happening in India, and it's unfortunate that this happened. Now, the FIDE president, in reply to Abdumalik in a personal message, had this reply. I apologize for the situation. The information provided earlier was sufficient, but the local organizers were not prepared. This does not mean that FIDE is not to be blamed. I understand that there is practically no chance to persuade. If you still have the strength, play with respect and hope for mutual understanding, Arkady. So very brisk. It's a personal message to the player Abdumalik, asking her if she has the strength, she should play, and taking the blame for it a little bit, and also blaming the organizers. Now, this was a public statement by FIDE, where they completely mentioned what happened and what could be done, and what happens to the tournament as well. On behalf of the International Chess Federation, I would like to extend our sincerest apologies for the mishandling of the Women's Grand Prix tournament in India. We deeply regret the problems and inconveniences you've experienced, blah, blah, blah. And they basically say that it cannot be postponed. Considering all the arguments in place, we have decided to continue with the Women's Grand Prix tournament in India. We believe that such a decision is best under the given circumstances, even though the withdrawal of a player would require all of the tournament participants and organizers to adjust themselves. So basically, as in the FIDE president, says that the tournament will go on. Now, this is where things got ugly. between the female players. Two female players. One is Abdumalik, who was very professional about it. One was a colleague. And guess what happened? This is the rest of the letter. From the very beginning, my team and I have dedicated just like PR stuff, nothing important. And he just promises that things will be better in the future. Now, coming to the major ugliness of the whole situation. Right after she withdrew from the tournament, her colleague, Bibisara, took to Instagram and posted this. This is from an old pic World Cup. This was the translation of the post. Have a look. Chess, of course, is an individual sport, but being an individual and being an individual, but being an individual and being an individual are two different things. What is that? The concept everyone for himself is sometimes interpreted by some as I didn't want to care about everyone. Should I say that you will never expect words of remorse or a courtesy apology from them? And what kind of courtesy can be spoken when such people just blatantly lie to everyone around? Perhaps embellishing reality is a professional quality of the former deputy of the Almaty Maslikat Zhansaya Abdumalik, her name, the person who withdrew, who has forgotten that she was a chess player in the first place. So Bibisara took it to heart that her colleague withdrew from the tournament. But there are things that are unforgivable for any professional, whoever he may be, and whoever they think they are. Sansaya and 11 other chess players, including me, were in Delhi yesterday. We have a big tournament in the Grand Prix, and everything would be fine, but she suddenly decided to leave the tournament, allegedly because the organizers met her displeased. Okay, forgive the bad English. She did it in a very strange, if not stupid way. She told a colleague an hour before opening ceremony that is, that she was leaving and was at the airport. And then calmly walked around the hotel with a grin as we were in emergency meeting deciding what to do next. Sansaya flew in with the man who accompanied her everywhere. Many others were alone and nothing. They got to the hotel without hysteria and snort. I don't see how this is relevant, who she's with. That's her personal matter. At the same time, some female chess players refused to participate in other championship, specifically for the sake of this Grand Prix. And at the moment, they have found themselves in a stalemate. So this was at the time when they thought the tournament is in danger. Like 6 players had returned to FIDE to cancel the tournament. So at this moment, they were probably thinking the tournament will get cancelled. So we traveled all the way here, and because of Abdumalik, we have to suffer. So that's why there is emotion involved in this Instagram post. Because of the current hysteria made up of lies, the tournament is in danger of being disrupted. Because of one person who thought that she could at the last moment just cross everything for a premeditated reason. Of course, there are many questions for local organizers, but most of all, there are questions to Sansaya, to her lack of sportsmanship. Expressed emotions are inappropriate, to her attitude to her colleagues, to life in general, to the professionalism in particular. Athletes should be ready for any force majors and challenges, not whine and give up if something goes wrong. If, like Sansaya, to respond to every little thing, then it's better to start sports, get married, and cook borscht, which is a dish in Kazakhstan, I suppose. I mean, she means cook borscht for the boyfriend that's mentioned there, who accompanies her everywhere. Especially since you've seen she has someone for to cook borscht. Best of luck to everyone. So that's a low body blow, like targeting her private life. Very emotional Instagram post. So Abdumalik replied to this. This was her reply to the Instagram post with the killer look. This was a translation. I tried to ignore the repeated unethical values of Bibisara Asubayeva addressed to me, but apparently the time has come to give up. I will start with the fact that the photo that Asubayeva used in her post does not correspond to the current situation and misleads chess lovers. The photo was taken in 2021 World Cup. Next, directly on the situation at the Grand Prix in India, I and my colleagues, including Asubayeva herself, were upset and disappointed, to put the least, with the conditions created by the organizers. After consulting, we decided to write a collective letter to the president and head of the FIDE apparatus, in which we expressed our displeasure and suggested to postpone or cancel the stage. The letter was signed by almost all the participants of the Grand Prix, including Asubayeva. The letter is in the carousel, like she attached the letter. Due to the collective dissatisfaction of the participants, the organizers are even forced to postpone the start of the tournament indefinitely. I personally informed FIDE President Arkady Dorkovich and Executive Director Emil Sutowski of my decision not to play in such conditions. I attached Arkady's answer in the carousel. In spite of all these ugly lies and hypocrisy of Bibisara Asubayeva, I do not regret the condition decision, and I'm convinced that chess players deserve to play in safe and decent conditions. I'm always proud and honored to represent my country, still remembering the Olympiad in India with fond memories, but the conditions over in Delhi are really unacceptable. I apologize to my colleagues for posting correspondence, but I have to do it to protect my good name. And this is the fun part. P.S. I will definitely get married and will be happy to cook borscht for my husband. I know many wonderful chess players who successfully combine family life and professional careers, and I sincerely admire them. So, a very measured reply, a very professional and polite reply, considering the original post by Asubayeva, which was pretty cruel and ugly. And now Bibisara replied to this post by Abdumalik. Zhansaya continues to compose non-fiction, and I'll have to tell again how everything really was. First of all, I wasn't talking to her. She didn't even bother to approach us, and even more, we didn't decide anything with her in a collegiate way. Secondly, I didn't sign any letters. On the screenshot that Zhansaya posted, there is just my last name. Who will tell her that that is supposed to mean that she signed it? Like you sign with your name. And I told FIDE President Arkady Dorkovich that I did not sign anything. The seemingly unanimous message is more of Zhansaya's secret desire to lead everyone against the Federation of India rather than reality. That's a pretty wild accusation, considering Abdumalik actually said that she loved the FIDE Olympiad that happened in India a few months back. Thirdly, the disappointment of the conditions provided the organizers expressed by Zhansaya is groundless and biased. At the Grand Prix in Kazakhstan, one participant was also not met at the airport. However, she did not raise a scandal and refused the game, letting her colleagues down. Fourth, no one is insured against any organizational errors, unforeseen failures, and force measures. An athlete, if he claims something, should accept everything with dignity. Well, on the 5th, the picture I posted on Instagram was taken at the World Cup where I won. I did not really understand exactly what the situation does not correspond to. There's a photo with the person I'm writing about in the post. We did not do a joint shot in India because I'll repeat, Zhansaya did not talk to me during this time. By the way, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We shall play tomorrow. Two participants had a nervous breakdown against the background of all that was happening. And all this wouldn't have happened now if it weren't for Zhansaya's antics. Draw your own conclusions. I wish you all goodness, love, peace. This was at 1 o'clock at night. Again, young player and very emotional. Still, no professionalism from Bibisara Asubayeva. And here comes her colleague, who is also playing in the tournament. And the first round is actually happening at 3 o'clock, which is 10 minutes from when I'm recording this. So, Elizabeth Pates from Germany. Dear chess friends, I did not intend to post anything private from the current emotional roller coaster happening during the FIDE Grand Prix in Delhi. However, some things are too unexpected for me to stay silent about. Zhansaya Abdumalik left the tournament after day one, which is the opening ceremony. She left because she faced serious troubles at the airport and later on at the hotel in a very unfortunate way. The biggest core of this problem was an insufficient organization by FIDE officials. She didn't leave because she decided to destroy the tournament as her compatriot Bibisara here claims. When Bibisara learned about a withdrawal and a potentially new Indian opponent, she was the first one to disagree and even wanted to quit the tournament before anyone else. 5 players, including herself, signed a letter convincing FIDE to postpone the event as emotions took over everything and a lot of players faced serious emotional outbreaks. Overnight, Bibisara changed her mind and informed FIDE. Furthermore, she downbashed Zhansaya during the official Zoom call with FIDE officials. So to claim she never signed the letter and she never wanted to quit the tournament is a lie from Bibisara Asubayeva, and I suppose done to damage the reputation of her compatriot. No more, no less. Since Bibisara's post on Instagram was shared and spread widely, I can confirm that 4 other players never would have dared to put her name inside a letter without her permission. Please share. So this clears things up. So huge drama at the FIDE Grand Prix in Delhi, the capital of India, where things have gone bad for the players. But the round is about to start. This is the playing hall. Round 1 is on 26th March, 3 p.m. Indian time. 11 players will be playing. These are the official commentators. This is Saumya. And this is Tapse, an old player from India. So let's see how the tournament unfolds with 11 players and with so much drama before the start.